One Piece Manga Chapter 1127 titled, Adventure in the Land of Mystery. In this chapter, we'll find out where Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates are. We also get a closer look at Elbaf and see what happens to Nami after she wakes up in the strange giant Lego castle. So sit back, relax, and watch right till the end of the video, as all of that is revealed. The cover page of the chapter is the 15th volume of the limited cover story, Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage. In the previous volume of the limited cover story, Yamato is eating at a local soba shop in the Kuri region. While Yamato was enjoying his meal, his ears picked up on the waitress's report. She told Yamato that some of the girls working in the shop had mysteriously gone missing. This volume continues with Yamato talking with Inuarashi. For those of you who may not remember, Inuarashi is the daimyo of Kuri. The two are sitting by the shore, eating some rice balls while Inuarashi opens up about his troubles. These mysterious kidnappings have really been weighing on him. As the daimyo, Inuarashi knows he has to solve the problem as soon as possible. The chapter begins in the Warland of Elbaf. In this fabled country, a loud tremor shakes the ground. In this land, where houses are made up of Lego blocks, the giants find themselves in a state of confusion. Their gazes are focused on the alarming scene before their eyes. After all, a massive fire has suddenly broken out in the area. The giants urge every citizen to hurry and get some spring water to put out the fire. But amidst the commotion, a female giant notices an unfamiliarly weird aroma. She asks her companions if they smelled it too. The giants then realize that the fire must have originated from the nearby forest. They know that if the flames spread to Yggdrasil, their homeland will be in serious danger. We've seen countless times that Oda-sensei draws inspiration from various cultures and backgrounds, and this is no exception. In Norse cosmology, Yggdrasil is a sacred ancient tree that connects different worlds. Nonetheless, they need to report this to the great sun god as soon as possible. Meanwhile, in another part of Elbaf, looks of confusion crossed the giant warriors' faces. After all, a group of heavily injured gigantic bees known as stinger moles have suddenly fallen from the sky. Something is definitely wrong. The giants know that these creatures don't just fall out from the sky for no reason at all. They couldn't help but wonder what could have happened to these stinger moles. The other giants' minds race as they try to process the situation. One giant tells his friends about the reports he heard earlier. He says that the tremors they felt were possibly caused by the fall of the mighty ear god. The giant's eyes are wide in fear. He refuses to believe the words of his companion. He can't imagine what or who could have hurt that enormous rabbit they revere as the ear god. The scene shifts to the Big Stein Castle. A blood-curdling scream echoes as a female voice cries in fear. Ah! She says that something terrifying is still alive in the castle. The woman is revealed to be Nami. She is choking on tears. Her voice shakes as she wonders what she just encountered. As her body trembles, Nami continues to point her weapon at the huge bee in front of her. After getting burned to a crisp by Nami's climate tact, it was no longer alive. The clueless Zeus then greets Nami with a casual good morning. He asks where they are, but she has no idea. The last thing Nami knew, she was still on the giant warrior pirate ship. For those of you who might not remember, Zeus the Thundercloud is a homie created by Big Mom. He was replaced by a new Thundercloud homie named Hera and was nearly absorbed by her. However, in chapter 1016, Zeus revealed himself to Nami, explaining that he survived by transplanting his soul into her climate tact. Now he plays a major role in powering up Nami's weapon. Unfortunately, Nami couldn't take it all any longer. She bursts into tears, begging somebody to save her. She cries out to Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, hoping they'll come and rescue her. At this point, Nami doesn't care who comes anymore. She says she doesn't mind, even if it is Usopp. Nami finally stands up. She puts her hands on her aching head, wondering what happened to her. This whole situation still doesn't make sense at all. Nami can't even remember changing her clothes. Unable to determine where she is, Nami wishes that this whole thing is just a dream. As she looks around, Nami finally realizes that she is in a castle. She then notices someone's figure popping up on the other side of the hallway. A bright smile lights up her face when she hears Usopp yelling out her name. Nami immediately runs towards Usopp, but in the next moment, she accidentally trips on the Lego floor. Nami yells in pain as she kneels on all fours. As she complains about the bumpy floor, a loud clattering noise catches her attention. Nami quickly looks up, but instead of Usopp, what she saw was a giant hedgehog. Shock is etched on Nami's expression. Her jaw drops, frozen in surprise. In the next moment, Nami shouts out and calls the hedgehog huge. The giant hedgehog screeches in shock. Its spiky hair stands on ends, threatened by Nami's reaction. The hedgehog growls in fury as rage twists its features. Nami immediately sprints for her life. She didn't mean to startle the hedgehog, but there's nothing she can do now. When Nami reaches the balcony, she shouts Usopp's name. Hearing his voice earlier, she asks where Usopp is. Usopp replies instantly. He urges Nami to look below. After all, he is on the verge of being eaten by a giant crowned cat wearing a royal cloak. Usopp is also in his Viking outfit, whose main features are its fake beard and mustache. Feeling desperate, Usopp begs Nami to save him. Nami's eyes pop out in surprise. Various questions surface as she wonders what Usopp is doing there. Also, is that another monster? Nami has her own problems though. She was the first who sought help. She even lowered her standards, not minding even if Usopp became her savior. Nami ponders, is this castle full of monsters? However, the hedgehog is slowly catching up to her. An enraged growl escapes its lips as it fiercely glares at Nami. Nami hurriedly orders Zeus to extend. Zeus is more than happy to handle it. But, as Zeus prepares its attack, Nami realizes that she is going to fall off the balcony. A wide grin flashes on Zeus's face while he's charging up the energy. In the next moment, Zeus saps the angry hedgehog. Nami still ends up falling from the balcony, but the hedgehog is successfully electrified. Its shriek overlaps with Nami's scream as they both descend from the upper floor. At the same time, the giant cat is looking at them. Nami safely bounces off the cat's back onto the Lego floor. Meanwhile, the hedgehog is still crying. It crashes into the cat's head and accidentally releases Usopp from the grasp of its mouth. The lightning attack affects the giant cat too. Now that the hedgehog is defeated, the cat lets out an agonized meow as it slowly gets electrocuted. However, Nami and Usopp didn't wish for this to happen. Their jaws drop in fear as they watch the scene unfold. They have a bad feeling about this. The cat glares at Nami and Usopp. After surviving the attack, he furiously chases them. The two exchange information while running away. Nami asks Usopp if he knows anything about the castle, but Usopp doesn't know much either. He remembers drinking on the giant warrior pirate ship, but the next thing he knew, he was here in the castle. Nami then remembers the drink they had earlier. She recalls the giant pirate calling it the Green Fairy, and warning them that it could cause hallucinations. As they talk, Nami and Usopp are forced to stop in their tracks. After all, they have reached a balcony, which is a dead end. Since they are so high up, they can't just jump and risk having injuries. They have nowhere to go now. Usopp looks back. Since they drank the Green Fairy, there's a chance that everything around them is just a trick of the mind. Right now, Usopp might be seeing a cat monster. However, he believes in the possibility of it being fake. While Nami is visibly confused, Usopp declares that this is just an illusion. He bravely faces the giant cat, thinking it's just a mere hallucination. In the next moment, the cat violently strikes Usopp with a single swipe. The monster and the castle aren't hallucinations after all. Tears stream down on Nami's face as she yells Usopp's name. The cat's attack destroys the upper part of the Big Stein castle. Nami and Usopp's yells overlap with the cat's growl as both of them get sent flying to the backyard of the castle. As they quickly descend, Nami tries to call Usopp, but her words are cut off by her own scream. Nami tumbles through the air along with the crumbling debris. Nami is breathing heavily. While Usopp is still unconscious, Nami is frozen in place, paralyzed by terror. The giant cat had suddenly transformed into an enormous lion. The lion's growl echoes clearly in her ears. Nami couldn't resist shouting. With this, she knew that they are doomed. She desperately tries to wake Usopp, but her efforts are futile. At this rate, they are going to die. The majestic lion is drooling, treating them as a delicious snack. It looks like they're about to become the lion's next meal. The lion opens its mouth, showing off its sharp teeth. His loud roar jolts Usopp awake. He finds himself being treated as a shield by the scared Nami. Nami refuses to let go, though. She closes her eyes, trying to block out the nightmare. But then, out of nowhere, Nami hears Sanji yelling her name.
Kachimasu! Nami-san!
Sanji looks enraged as he readies his upcoming move. He swears to punish the lion for making his beloved Nami cry.
Yurusanu!
Luffy also arrives on the battlefield with his Gear 4th form.
Gomu Gomu no!
At the same time, Zoro is preparing to attack.
これで終わりだ
The lion lets out a roar. He doesn't back down despite the appearance of 3 powerful pirates. In an epic double spread, Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy hit the giant lion with a combo attack. Sanji delivers his Ifrit Jumbo, Epuela Strike. Luffy unleashes Gum Gum Elephant Whip, and Zoro uses his 3-sword style, Kalasutra Great Dragon Twister. Together, they take down the giant lion. Now this reminds me of when Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro teamed up for a combo attack back in chapter 162. If we look back to that chapter in the manga, the 3 used similar moves. Luffy hit the enemy with a Gum Gum Whip. Sanji kicked with his Epuela Sprawl, and Zoro used his Dragon Twister. With those attacks, they took down a giant Sandora dragon without breaking a sweat. Now, we're seeing an even stronger and more upgraded version of those same moves. Nami's eyes left their sockets. She struggles to comprehend the absurdity of the 3 strength. She lets go of Usopp as a shield, which causes him to hit his head on the ground. Meanwhile, the lion slowly collapses. Its monstrous form has been undone, and it returned to being a huge cat. Zoro stares at it seriously. He was confused to see that such a terrifying lion could turn into a helpless cat. Luffy, on the other hand, is still thinking about food. He giggles as he reminisces about the events a few moments ago. The rabbit they grilled up earlier was tasty, but now Luffy is curious about how the cat might taste. If we go back to the earlier parts of this chapter, the giant warriors talk about the collapse of the mighty Ear God. I wonder if that enormous rabbit is the mighty Ear God. If that is the case, Luffy's gone off and grilled a legendary Elbaf god. As if that weren't enough, we also saw stinger moles falling from the sky. It wouldn't be surprising if Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro were the ones who caused the fire and tremor. At the same time, Sanji is dancing with joy. He feels relieved now that he has finally reunited with Nami. However, Nami starts to cry again. Her voice shakes in sadness as she talks about how scared she was when Usopp died. Even though he's badly hurt, Usopp immediately protests. He tells them that he is still alive. Usopp also promises to make Nami pay for treating him as a human shield. In the next moment, the loud cry of the giant cat echoes across Elbaf. Its shriek is heard by the citizens, and it sounds like they're getting fed up with these reoccurring situations right now. Luffy beams with delight. He is now wearing a cool Viking outfit with a long-horned helmet and an axe strapped to his back. Luffy is excited to hunt even bigger food. He believes that those tasty meals are just lying around the castle. If they look delicious, he will definitely get some. On the other hand, Zoro is dressed differently. He has a mask over his eyes similar to ski goggles. Unlike Luffy and the others, he wears a light-colored cape instead of black. While Luffy is thinking about food, Zoro reminds him that they need to focus on something more important. He says they need to prioritize finding the sea and their ship. In this situation, they need to establish the crew's safety first. Sanji then joins in their conversation. He has a dark cape and a sword on his back. Sanji gives Luffy a good piece of advice. If he's going after food, he must not forget the bee battalion and their hive. Since they were nutritious, it would be such a shame to waste them. Meanwhile, Nami is overwhelmed with a flood of tears. She struggles to comprehend how quickly Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro have adjusted to the situation. As she asks them where they really are, the chapter ends. Do you think the monster trio had killed and eaten the Ear God? Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you, so comment below. As always, press like if you enjoyed the video, and if you don't want to miss out on future One Piece chapters like this one, definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon, and share this video with your One Piece friends. There will be a break next week, so I'll see you in the next video. Till then, thank you for watching the video, and have a great day, Nakama.